Transfer of heat. Heat energy always flows from a region of higher temperature to a region of lower temperature till both attain the same temperature. This phenomenon is called transfer of heat. Heat can be transferred from one object to another by three modes: conduction, convection, and radiation. Conduction. Conduction is the transfer of heat from a hotter part to a colder part of an object due to collision of its particles without the actual movement of the particles from their position. Heat transfer through conduction occurs within solids and between solid substances that are in direct contact with each other. How well a material conducts heat depends on how close the particles are arranged. Therefore, solids are the best conductors of heat, followed by liquids. However, gases are bad conductors of heat. How does conduction occur? We know that the particles are closely packed in solids. That is, they cannot move freely and can only vibrate at their fixed positions. When a solid is heated, the particles which are in direct contact with the source of heat start vibrating faster. These fast vibrating particles collide with the neighboring slow vibrating particles and transfer heat to them, making them vibrate faster in turn, collide and transfer the heat to their neighboring particles, and so on. In this way, heat is transferred from one particle to the next through collision of vibrating particles within substances. In the objects shown here, certain parts of these devices heat up easily, while certain other parts do not. Materials that conduct heat easily are called conductors. Metals are usually good conductors of heat. Materials that do not allow the conduction of heat are called insulators. For example, wood, cotton, rubber, clay, and cork. Air and water are also insulators of heat. Materials such as wool, feathers, and fur act as insulators because air is trapped inside their fibers. Practical applications of conduction. Following are some practical applications of conduction. Pans used for cooking are usually made of metals such as steel, copper, or aluminium, while their handles are made of plastic. Clothes made of fur trap air inside them, and this trap air then acts as an insulator. It prevents heat from escaping, keeping the body warm. Convection. Convection is the transfer of heat by the movement of particles. Convection is the primary mode of heat transfer in fluids. This is because the molecules are loosely arranged with space between them which allow movement. How does convection take place? When liquids or gases are heated, the heated molecules rises up. For when water is heated in a vessel, the water at the bottom gets heated first. As hot water is lighter, it rises up. The colder and heavier water from the top of the vessels moves downwards. This process continues setting up circulating steams of hot and cold water in the vessels. This results in the heating up of the whole water. As mentioned earlier, convection also occurs in gases. An example of this is the formation of sea breeze and land breeze in coastal areas. The sun heats up the land during the day much faster than the water in the seas. Therefore, during daytime, the air above the land gets warm and rises up, and the air from over the sea flows in to take its place. This results in sea breeze. At night, the land cools down faster than the water in the sea. Hence, the air above the sea is hotter than the air above the land. The air above the sea therefore rises. The cool air above the land rushes in to take its place, forming a land breeze. Practical applications of convection. Following are some practical applications of convection. Exhaust fans in kitchens are always fitted high close to the ceiling so that they can remove the hot air that rises up. Room heaters are placed on the floor of a room. When the cool air is heated, it rises up and the cool air flows down to the floor. This results in effective heating of the entire room. The ventilators of a room are at the top of windows or the doors. This is because when the air in the rooms gets heated, it rises and passes out from the ventilators at the top. Radiation. Heat energy can travel in the form of waves. These waves do not need any medium to travel. The transfer of heat in the form of rays or waves for which a medium is not required is called radiation. If you stand outside in the sun for some time, you start feeling warm. How does the heat energy of the sun travel to the earth and reach us? It does so through radiation. Although radiation does not require any medium, it is also not obstructed by the pressure of any medium. Thus heat can radiate through air as well as water. All hot objects radiate heat. When radiation falls on an object, a part of it is absorbed and the remaining is affected. The amount of heat absorbed or reflected by an object depends on several factors such as the nature of the surface and its color. Darker colors are good absorbers while lighter colors are poor absorbers. Practical applications of radiation. Following are some practical applications of radiation. Solar heaters are designed to use the heat energy from the sun for cooking food. We prefer wearing light colored clothes in summer because light colors are poor absorbers of heat. Conversely, we prefer wearing dark colored clothes in winter. They are good absorbers of heat and thus keep us warm. Working on a thermos flask. A thermos flask maintains the temperature of the substance kept in it. That is, it keeps a hot substance hot and a cold substance cold for a long time. Let us understand how it works. The outer casing of a thermos flask is made up of plastic. Plastic, being a poor conductor of heat, acts as an insulator preventing the heat loss through conduction. Inside it is a double-walled container made of glass or stainless steel. Both the walls are polished so they are shiny. The space between the two walls is a vacuum. This prevents heat loss through convection since there are no air particles to carry out the transfer of heat. The shiny surface of the walls also prevent heat loss through radiation.